Namaste, beautiful people. How are you all today? I'm really well. I just wanted to reach out to you to ask everyone how they're doing during these unprecedented times. That prophecy in history is fulfilling, so many people knew this was coming, and many people know what will be coming after this also. But not everyone knows, so for some people it may be very bewildering times. So I want to reach out and ask you how you're doing, especially mentally, psychologically, emotionally. How is this period in your life going at the moment? How are you experiencing life at the moment? Please let me know, either in the comments below or send me a personal message. I want to put myself out here because I want to say I'm here for anybody who needs a shoulder to lean on, because I'm feeling strong, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling in my center. And in Kundalini Yoga it explains about 3 minds: the positive mind, the negative mind, and the neutral mind. Now there can be different ways to explain this, different terminologies, but in Kundalini Yoga they use that. So now what is going on in the world? Well, there's many theories going around, and as my friend said, many of them are credible. And some people can be looking at the negative side, so from the negative mind, you know, there's this terrible so-called virus that's taken over the world and many people are dying from it. And we have to be really careful. We can't socialise with others, and we're told not to now by the governments, and you know, maybe wear gloves and a mask to go to the supermarket and do your shopping. And it's putting a lot of people into fear, anxiety, stress, doubt, uncertainty. So there's a whole realm of reality that we could look at from the negative mind. Now there's a whole realm of reality we can look at from the positive mind. Since we've all been on lockdown, the earth is starting to heal herself. Dolphins are being seen in the waters of Venice. The Himalayan mountains can be seen from some major cities, the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas, which have been covered for decades. Now the factories and industries have stopped and all the smog has lifted. The Himalayas are in view again. The river Jamuna, a sacred river in India which runs through Delhi, has been full of pollution for many, many years as the sewage is pumped out into her. And now she, in just 2 or 3 weeks, has become really clean and is flowing beautifully. And there's many other instances of positive aspects of what is happening. So we can see that in the positive mind. However, if we get caught up in one or the other, we don't get the whole picture. So that's where the neutral mind comes in, and some people may call it being equipoised or being centered in your center. So in Kundalini Yoga it's called coming from the neutral mind, and that we see the negative, we see the positive, but we come from the neutral place, which is our place of being. And what is that place of being? Well, the sages teach us, and my personal conviction is that that place of being is pure consciousness, or our eternal spirit soul. For that's who we are. We're eternal spirit souls, having a human experience, embodied in this physical case, having a human experience. But we're not this physical body, and we're not the mind either, and we're not the emotions. We're the conscious observer of these things. Or we could be, we can be, if we connect with ourselves, then we can be a conscious observer of all these, conscious observer of the mind and its thoughts, conscious observer of the emotions. But if we get too caught up in the negative mind, we become the fear, we become the doubt, we become the anxiety. We are that because we're not observing it from the neutral place. We are just being caught in the negative mind. And I have an example of one man, and he broke down in front of me just the other day because he can't take any more, because he's caught up in the hype that's got him in the negative mind. And he's full of fear over this so-called coronavirus, full of worry, stress, anxiety. He can't sleep. When he goes shopping, he wears his gloves, disposable gloves, and brings in, and he's only buying pretty much tinned food. So when he gets home, he can put all the tinned food in a bowl of disinfected water in case the virus is on the tins. And then he throws the gloves away, puts all his clothes in the washing machine. And then what happened the other day, before he took the gloves off, he took some things out of his pocket and put them on the floor. And then he realised he did that with his gloves on, which he's been out with, so the virus could be on the gloves, now they could be on those things. And at that point it just became all overwhelming for him, and I saw him and he said to me, "What's happened, what I just shared with you?" And he said, "Would you do all that? Do you do that? If you came back from the shops?" And I looked at him and I said, "No." And at that point he just burst down in tears and had a mini breakdown, because it was all just too much for him, and obviously he can't maintain that standard on an ongoing basis, and he realised that, and that's when he had a breakdown, because his whole life that he knew it has been taken away from him. And now my point is, he's not able to go into himself to deal with what's going on, and that's why part of the reason he's suffering, because his world was always externally, working in retail, speaking to lots of people, going out, dressing up, doing charity fundraisers and engaging in the population. Now that's all been taken away and he's just in his house by himself. He can't handle it, and he's so I suggested about breath. No, I don't consciously breathe. No, I wouldn't do that. He's a Christian. I suggested time to connect with the Spirit of Christ. No, I can't go in at the moment. So there's something he's running away from, and that's stopping him finding the inner peace to deal with this turmoil, the external turmoil. Because inner peace isn't dependent on our external circumstances. Someone could be in a prison cell and be experiencing inner peace, and someone could be living in luxury with great riches and everything anyone could seemingly want in life, and be full of anxiety, stress, fear, doubt, and not only that, but unhappiness. And we've seen it time and time again, that money doesn't bring happiness. So how are we using this time? Are we getting pulled into the negative mind? Are we full of stress and anxiety and fear? Or are we in the positive mind and just seeing hope and roses wherever we go? Or are we in the neutral mind and seeing everything in its full entirety, and then coming from that place of our being? There's a beautiful analogy that's been given that I heard the other day about the caterpillar. And it said that the caterpillar eats 300 times its body weight before it enters into the cocoon and transforms into a beautiful butterfly. So it said that we've eaten 300 times more than we needed from planet Earth. We've raped 300 times more than we've needed from planet Earth. And now it's time for us to go into our cocoons. So, are we going to use this time to transform ourselves into butterflies? And now this is the real point. It's a great moment in human history that we have right now. Whatever's going on behind the scenes, people have different theories. But irrespective of all that, this is a beautiful time and an opportunity for us to go into ourselves individually and collectively, and to use this time to transform ourselves from the hungry caterpillar into a beautiful light butterfly. So how do we do this? I feel very fortunate because I've been on this spiritual path for 30 years, over 30 years. And even though it's been a path like this, and it's had great highs and great lows, it's still been on the path that's brought me to where I am today. And for many, many years, I would rise very early, living in ashrams, living in communities, and I had many different morning practices, but at one point, for many, many years, I had a morning practice which involved 2 hours of meditation, mantra meditation, every day. And usually, from at the very early hours, I would be sitting down by 5 o'clock in the morning and meditating from 5 till 7, every morning for many, many years. Now at that time, sometimes it was very ecstatic. I'd be meditating, I'd be chanting the holy names, the mantras, and I'd be fully absorbed in the flow and the sound vibration of the mantras, and I'd be one with the mantra. And it was very ecstatic, and beautiful realizations would rise up from my heart during those moments. But many, many times it wasn't like that. I would still be up, going through the process, having my cold shower, putting on my clean white clothes, sitting down to meditate. But what would happen? My mind would just be drifting off in other thoughts. So I'm there chanting on my japa mala, my meditation beads, but my mind is just completely somewhere else, and I don't even know it's somewhere else. I'm that lost in it, and then I finally realise that I've completely drifted off maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago, and I try and bring it back to the mantra, but almost immediately it goes off again, it goes off, and the whole 2 hours could be like that, and I'd be thinking, this is terrible. What's the point of me even doing this? And it could be prolonged for many days. I'd be thinking, what's the point of me doing this meditation? Where's the benefit in it? I'm not even focusing on the holy names. I'm just thinking about other thoughts that are irrelevant. But now, as the years have passed, I've realised even those mornings benefited me. But I didn't see it at the time. But that's what I had to go through to get to where I am today. I had to go through those times where it didn't seem like I could focus, but I was doing it anyway. And that's the point. We do it anyway. And that's the discipline. And one great elevated friend of mine said to me once, "Who's your best friend? What's your best friend?" And the answer I gave made him laugh. He said, no. He said, your best friend is discipline. And I knew he was right. But discipline isn't something we favour so much for many of us. Disciple means discipline. If someone is a disciple of someone, then their disciple is coming from the word discipline. They discipline themselves for a higher purpose. So, what are you doing in these days? Is it benefiting you? Are you going through the transformation? Are you that caterpillar now in that cocoon transforming your life? And I said to a friend the other day, I said, for someone who's already on the spiritual path, this time is a great time for them to increase their practice, to go deeper in their practice, to speed up the process of transformation, to connect with what they already have and connect with it in a stronger way. And for someone who's not on the spiritual path, or who doesn't maybe have a daily practice, which is an important point that I'm going to get to, this is a great opportunity for them to get on the spiritual path and really work with connecting themselves on a deeper level. And the great sages of ancient India and of other parts of the world, they all teach us that it all starts from the moment we wake up, preferably early, before sunrise. And the discipline is so strong that it's something we work towards. But it's not just doing it for the sake of doing it. It's doing it for the benefits that we'll receive from it, which is connecting with our eternal self. And when we reach that place, we realise there's nothing better that the world has to offer. So a morning practice can be different according to the path that a person is on. So it can vary greatly, and I suppose in many ways it's about finding what works for you. But it actually starts from the moment we open our eyes, and that can be with, so before we get out of bed, our discipline has started. It said it takes about 40 days to break a habit and to start installing a new habit. So at first things don't come easy and we have to try harder, but eventually we create a new habit for ourselves, and then it becomes joyful and blissful, and it becomes more natural. We don't have to endeavour for it, it becomes part of who we are and our lifestyle. So it actually begins when we wake up with either some positive affirmations, I'm happy, I'm beautiful, I'm worthy, or sending out love to others, sending out love to your friends, your family, your loved ones, the community, the people on the earth, planet Earth herself, or offering prayers and gratitude to the supreme divine being of love, the source of all creation. Chanting mantras. It can begin with some deepening our breath, taking some full inhale and then a full exhale and expelling all the stale air that's at the base of our lungs, and taking a few nice breaths and bringing that oxygen into our system. You can breathe by doing a few stretches in bed, a side stretch, nice, open up all the spine, do some side stretch. You can do some breath of fire and some other little stretches while still in the bed. So that's even before we get out of the bed, we're already connecting with ourself. Then it's recommended to have a shower, a cold shower. Then we put on some clean clothes before we start our morning practice before breakfast. Now if we're hungry, we could have a piece of fruit or a cup of herbal tea, and it's always recommended to drink some warm water, warm herbal tea when we first wake up, just to flush out the system. So we can do that before we start our practice. Then we find a sacred space, whether it's outdoor in a beautiful surrounding like this, or a little space in your room that you've created an altar with some sacred objects which are very meaningful to you and connect you to a higher aspect of yourself on the altar. And that can be our space where we go and we maybe light a candle, burn some incense and offer our prayers, or where we practice some meditation, or we can practice some yoga, physical yoga. Or it can be a combination. We may want to do a little physical yoga, then a meditation. We may want to do some mantra chanting. We may want to sing. We like to sing mantras or sing hymns, or whatever our practice is. It's good to have some physical practice as well, because we are in these bodies, and the body does affect the mind for 99.9% of us. So it is good to work the body. Yoga is very good. Tai Chi and Qigong is also very good. I've been drawn more to the yoga path over the years, even though I practiced a lot of Tai Chi and other forms of exercise in my life. The yogic path is a very complete path, and it has the physical, it works with the mental, with the meditation, it works with the emotional, the psychological, and ultimately the spiritual, the egoic, reaching the spirit, peeling back the layers of the onion. So I like the holisticness of the yogic path. So I practice some physical yoga. I like my mantra meditation. I like different meditations. There's breath work. So it's very broad what we can practice to get results. But ultimately, the goal is to come in contact with ourselves and know ourselves differently from the positive and the negative mind. And then we can see them in their perspective, but come from a place which you may call a transcendental place, because positive is still within the dualities of the material world with its opposite. So where we're coming from is a place that's transcendental to all the dualities and the polarities of the material world, because it's a spiritual platform, and spiritual is the opposite of material. So material means duality, spiritual means that oneness. So that's where we're coming to. So I'm wishing you all well, and I'm sending you lots of love on this beautiful morning. It's Easter Friday, so for many people it's a contemplative day on Christ and his life and what his contribution to this world meant to us and how that's inspired us. For me personally, it's more the Christ consciousness, the consciousness of Christ as a person, more than the religion that Christ kind of got put into and bound by. So for me, it's taking Christ out of the religion and then having Christ as a person that I can connect with and be inspired by. So it's a beautiful day, the sun is shining. And remember, you are still a free person. You can do whatever you want still. Don't feel you have to be locked in your room. I'm not locked in my room. I do whatever I want. But that partly is because I'm quite rebellious. I have this rebellious nature, and I always have had a rebellious nature, and I still have. But I don't want to rebel against my spirit, you see, because that's called throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But I will rebel against things which I feel don't serve me, and one of them at the moment is being locked in my house. Doesn't serve me, so I don't even see that I'm locked in my house. I'm in my house when I want to be in my house, and when I want to come out, I come out. Obviously I don't go to the shops because the shops are closed. So that's just a reality. But if I want to come into some gardens or a park or go anywhere I want and sit down and share with you in a beautiful surrounding, then I'll do that. I'm a free man, and no one will take that freedom away from me. So I'd like you to know that as well, that you're also free people and you can do whatever you want right now. There's nothing stopping you except yourself. And share how you're feeling. Reach out to me if you'd like any strength or guidance in anything particular to do with techniques for the morning program, because they say the morning sadhana, like spiritual practice, is the most important time of our day. That's where we're going to connect ourselves with reality. We'll get our inner realizations. We go beyond the mind, beyond the intelligence, beyond the ego, and reach our true self. And this is where we become liberated and free and happy from all the worries, from stress, depression, anxiety, fear, doubt, all these emotions which will hold us back in life and stop us from reaching our highest potential. The morning program is crucial. The morning sadhana, spiritual practice, is crucial for that. So I implore everyone to use this time to incorporate a good morning practice, whatever inspires you. If something's not working, then do something else. Don't just stick with something that's not working for the sake of it. Do something else, because you can always come back to that when you've been inspired by something else, and maybe it might start working for you again if it's something that's dear to your heart. But don't just hold on to it for the sake of it, and if it's drying you up and then you're losing that focus. Find something else that will work, and work with other tools. There's many tools there to help us reach our full potential in life, because we're all individuals. We're not clones, so we're not meant to just be like the next person, but we're meant to be expressing our individual nature, and that comes by being true to ourselves. So, lots of love, lots of happiness, lots of joy on this beautiful day. And one last thing before I go is that I plan to start sharing some Kundalini Yoga classes. I need some work to get things tech ready where I am, that I could maybe start live streaming as well. But at the moment I'm going to do some just recordings like this offline and then upload them. So if anyone wants to start connecting with some Kundalini Yoga, I'm going to be offering that for you during this time. And Kundalini Yoga is very special because it's specifically designed, and I'm going to finish with this point, but this is very important with the Kundalini Yoga, and this is what I want to reach to now, that I want to offer something to you in the form of Kundalini Yoga, because it's specifically designed for this modern age that we're entering into now, which is the age of Aquarius. We've come through a 2,000-year period of the Piscean age, which has all its symptoms. Now, that period astrologically started to end as we enter into the Aquarius age, which began at the end of the Mayan calendar in 2012. Because that was not the end of time that some people saw it before 2012, but it was the end of the Piscean age as we enter into the age of Aquarius. Now, because it's such a long shift from a 2,000-year process, it didn't happen overnight. But we went through a transitional period of about 20 years from 1992 to 2012 of transitioning from the Piscean age into the Aquarius age. But now we are fully in that Aquarian age, and there's children being born in this Aquarian age now, the children of Aquarius, the rainbow children. And they're very enlightened souls, and they've been coming since 1992, since the transition period started, and even before. And they're very enlightened souls, and we have a lot we can learn from the next generation coming up. We're just doing what we can in this transitional period to pass over something a bit better for them to work with, and that's what we're doing. We're helping with the positive transition, and we're doing our bit to break free from the vanity that is coming from our forefathers, from the Piscean age, structures that are no longer serving us. We're helping to break them down and create this transition and this shift on the Aquarian age to pass it on to the next generation, who are already eons beyond us anyway, but it's for ourselves also we're doing this. So now we're fully in this Aquarian age. Yogi Bhajan, who brought these teachings of Kundalini Yoga to the West, explained that this age is an age of technology. Now this technology, the electromagnetic frequency of this technology is going to affect many people in a negative way, because some people are very sensitive to this technology. 2G, 3G, 4G. And now 5G is getting rolled out all over the world while we're on lockdown. 5G masts are being put up all over the world. And part of the reason this is happening is because it hasn't been tested yet. Now we're just dealing with facts. There's no conspiracy theory or anything like that. There's just certain facts that we glean, and we see this is a fact. It hasn't been tested on the health implications of the human and the human race through 5G technology. Because I think they call it gigahertz increases so much from 4G to 5G. It's not how it sounds, like 3G is a bit more than 2, 4 is a bit more than 3, 5 is a bit more than 4. No, 5 is going off the scale. So that's what we're all about to get hit with soon, is 5G technology. And already many people can't handle 4G. The electromagnetic frequency is so strong for them. They're having an illness which is recognised now in some countries called electromagnetic sensitivity, because they can't handle the electromagnetic frequencies that they're getting hit with. And that they can't see, it's invisible, like the radio waves are invisible, Wi-Fi, it's invisible, but we're getting hit with it constantly. And for some people it's causing chronic fatigue, their whole body closes down. And it's having many mental issues that people are experiencing. So now 5G is going to come, and it's going to come hard. And if we can't handle 4G, we're finished with 5G. Now Kundalini Yoga is specifically designed for many things. One of them, it strengthens our electromagnetic field, because we all have an electromagnetic field. And there's an electromagnetic field around the earth. So we're also electrical beings. We run through electrical impulses. The brain sends messages electrically. We are electrical beings. So we strengthen through the practice of Kundalini Yoga our electromagnetic field. Kundalini Yoga strengthens our nervous system. So it's not all just about raising the Kundalini and becoming enlightened, even though that's an ultimate result, and that enlightened is what you could call your normal state. That's what enlightened is, but because we're so far away from our normal state, it seems like an amazing thing, be enlightened. But this enlightened is just who we are. We are already enlightened. We're enlightened beings who have come away from that, because we've got lost in our mind and our emotions and in the external world. And it's all coming back to ourselves and realising our full potential as human beings, which is magnificent. So Kundalini Yoga helps to strengthen your nervous system, to make your nerves strong, so you can handle what's coming at you and hold your space and not quiver under it and break down. So your strong nervous system, strong electromagnetic field, your aura, the auric field is strong and projecting out nicely without holes in it, where energy can come in and sap our energy, so all our holes become covered, so we have a full strong auric field projecting nicely, so anything energetically coming at it will just bounce off, and we can hold our space and be strong in that space, hold our light, be strong in that light, and then from that place we can share that light with others to help others come to that place within themselves, so we can all come back to our place of beautiful beings of light. So this is Kundalini Yoga, and because of the whole 5G phenomena, that's what's really inspired me now to come out, share this knowledge, share this technology, because I've been gleaning a lot of knowledge over the last 30 years, and I haven't shared it as much as I could, and some people have called me miserly for that. They've said, you're just holding on to it for yourself, you should be sharing it with others. And also they warned me, if you don't share it, you will lose it. And it wasn't like a curse, it was just like science. If you don't share, you will lose. If you share, you will gather more. But putting all that aside, just when I saw about this whole 5G coming out, I just felt that, because sometimes the ego can make you want to do something so you can be recognised. So the ego pushes you to get into the limelight so you can be recognised. But it's all egoic, so it's not really serving you as an individual being. And differently from that, sometimes the ego can stop you doing something and keep you small. Now that's also the ego. So to find that middle path, that neutral place of being, and doing it from that place, that's where we really want to come from when we offer ourselves to others and to the world. And we say the world now because we're a global community. The internet, you put something up on the internet, potentially you're reaching anyone in the world. So it is the world, and it's coming from that place. And that's the best place to come from when we put ourselves forward. So I've been holding back. Sometimes the ego wants me to go forward to get recognition for my self-esteem. Sometimes it wants to hold me back through false humility. But now with this whole 5G rolling out, and I've just done the Kundalini teacher training, I finished it last year, and I've been absorbed in Kundalini Yoga for the last 3 years now, after 20 years of Hatha Yoga. So I have a big yogic background as well as other aspects of yoga, but specifically this Kundalini in the last 3 years, that culminated in my yoga teacher training over 8 months last year. Now I feel this is a time for me to come out to share this with others, for others to take advantage, and if I can help just one person or inspire them to connect with a different Kundalini Yoga teacher which they feel more connected with, because there's many Kundalini Yoga teachers there and we may be drawn to one over another, but that's not my concern. If I can help guide someone through that, they get a connection to Kundalini Yoga with someone else, I'm completely happy with that. I'm actually ecstatic about that. So if I can just help one person, because I know the power of this Kundalini Yoga, and especially if we get into a regular practice with it, it's a very powerful tool to assist us in this modern age of Aquarius, where we're being bombarded by electromagnetic frequencies which are getting stronger and stronger, and 5G is looking potentially imminent, even though there is a lot of resistance towards it, to the point where someone just burnt down a 5G tower in Birmingham that was recently erected, and I think in Liverpool and one in Ireland as well. So some people are actually going out there physically. That's not my path. This is more my path, but it's not for me to tell anyone else what they should or shouldn't do. So that's what they felt they needed to do, and that's what they did, and that's showing resistance in a different way against this 5G technology. So let's see how that all unravels. But besides that, technology is here with us, and for the time being it's here with us to stay, and the stronger we can strengthen ourselves energetically, electrically, nervously, that's going to really benefit us as we move through, to stop us falling into depression, anxiety, stress, feelings of hopelessness, etc, etc. So they're going to be coming up soon. I'm going to be sharing some Kundalini Yoga and taking you through some basic practices from the introduction of Kundalini Yoga techniques, with beginners, kriyas, exercises, meditations, breath work, and I'm going to cover a whole lot of stuff with you over the coming weeks and months, and it's going to be really wonderful. It's going to be ecstatic. Anyone who wants to join me, I have a YouTube channel, so I'll share that with my first upload on Facebook. It's basically, my YouTube channel is just called Kundalini Yoga, so you can find me there. If you subscribe to that, you'll be notified every time there's a new Kundalini class that is uploaded. And I like to share a little philosophy while I teach the Kundalini Yoga, because it's a spiritual yoga, so we share some spiritual teachings, some gold nuggets there to be gleaned in each class. So I look forward to sharing that with you, and I look forward to hearing your comments, how you're all feeling now with this lockdown and with this worldwide unprecedented phenomena that we're all experiencing as a global community, and how it's affecting you, whether it's in a positive way, a negative way, a bit of both, or if you're coming from the neutral place and just seeing things without being so affected by it, just carrying on with your day-to-day life as a pure spiritual being. And if you want to reach out to me privately, you can private message me. I'm here for you, anybody, with lots of love and gratitude. We're all in this together. We're all one family now. We always have been, but we haven't realised it. And I think we're starting to realise more and more now that we're all one family, and that we're here to be supporting each other So I'm here to support you guys. Lots of love, blessed love, Namaste, Hare Krishna, Satnam, Waheguru, blessings and love.